What's up, everyone? Today's wine text is the Woodlands 2016 Clementine from Margaret River in Australia. So Woodlands is actually a really cool winery that I've actually worked with for the past 4 or 5 years on a bunch of their other wines, Cabernets, things of that nature, a lot of their single vineyards. I'm excited to bring their Clementine. So Margaret River is one of the most western regions within Australia, but also one of the most southern. So when in Australia, you think about the country, it's in the southern hemisphere. So the more south you go, actually the cooler it gets. And that's why most of the wine regions where they grow wine is in southern Australia. This is a left bank Bordeaux blend, all coming from one single vineyard. And it's mainly Cabernet, only about 55%. And then there's Merlot, Petit Verdot, and a couple other grapes in there as well. Just know Australian wines have a lot of fruit just because of how hot it gets there. So there's going to be a lot of fruit. It's definitely going to be full-bodied, but still pretty approachable. I think Woodlands is definitely an old world style winery. So they get a little bit more balance and a little bit more structure in their wines. I'm super excited to taste this because I've always loved all their wines. So I brought this piece of wood over so you guys can actually see a little bit of the color a little bit better. But right off the bat, you can see the color of the wine is super concentrated. You can see through it, but it's not going to be, like Pinot Noir or anything like that. It's actually pretty dark. On the nose, there's a ton of cherry cola, lots of raspberry, definitely like a prominent plum note as well. But a decent amount of this like earthiness. I think it comes from the natural clay soils that this vineyard's on, and the actual slope is, it causes a lot of sunlight. So while the fruit is there, the slope and the clay really makes it prominent in the wine. Super tasty. The fruit forwardness is still there, which I expect out of all Australian wines. But the tannin structure is actually pretty strong. Even though this is a screw top wine, I think you could definitely age it another 4 or 5 years and it would actually get a little bit better. The finish is super long. Actually surprising, the acidity level is decently high. This is a really great approachable food wine that you're gonna need things like steak, big, full, heavier meals, things with a lot of rich sauces, because this is a pretty massive full-bodied wine. This winery is super small. I know they only make 9,000 cases total in the entire winery. This one's even smaller, a very, very tiny production from one of their smallest vineyards. And just a really cool wine, bringing it to you. Enjoy.